When should I take the MCAT to maximize my MCAT score? This is one of those questions that our students ask all the time. There's both a simple answer and a practical answer to when is the best time to take the MCAT. In this video, you'll learn when you should take the MCAT, when it's not the best idea to take the test, and how to choose your test date. Hi, my name is Joseph Kafka, and I'm an admissions associate here at BeMo. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe on whatever social media channel you're watching this from so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. If you would like us to help you ace the MCAT, click on the link either above or below this video to schedule your free initial consultation. And as a quick tip, check out the timestamps in the description of this video to navigate to specific sections of the video that you're interested in. Here's everything we're going to cover. When should I take the MCAT? The simple answer. When should I take the MCAT? The practical answer. When should I not take the MCAT? How long are MCAT scores valid? How to choose your MCAT test date. Now, let's get started. The simple answer to when I should write the MCAT is when you feel 100% ready to write the MCAT, period. How do you know you're 100% ready? You know you are ready when you consistently score in the 90th percentile or above on your realistic mock practice tests. The key word here is consistently. That means if you scored well once, that's not sufficient. You should score really well at least 3 times in a row to feel confident that you are ready. And when this happens, you should write the test immediately. The practical answer is that you want to balance the timing of the exam with completing enough coursework or independent study to have the necessary background for the test, while still leaving time in your university career to rewrite it if you perform poorly. Be sure you check out the requirements of the schools you want to apply to before you take the test, including admission statistics and the average accepted MCAT score. While many schools will consider your most recent scores, but the expense of time, energy, and money makes it worth writing only once. In fact, the most successful applicants are those who set out to write the exam only once, whenever that may be. Most traditional applicants will choose to write the MCAT after their second year of university, as the bulk of the MCAT content is covered in first and second year medical school prerequisites. Most non-traditional or mature applicants will probably choose to write it as soon as they can to not delay their application. It's also important to consider when you want to attend medical school. Some students will prefer to go straight into medical school from their undergraduate degrees, while others will take a year or 2 off in between. Once you know when you want to go to medical school, you can make sure you schedule your MCAT prior to applying. Students hoping to attend medical school in the fall may want to take the MCAT the year before. Check out our blog on MCAT test dates to find out available dates to take the MCAT. Don't forget as well that your GPA and MCAT scores don't count for everything in your application. Think of it this way: most patients don't want a doctor who is only a good diagnostician and prescriber. They want someone who listens and communicates well and is empathetic to their situation, a doctor they can trust. While having high grades and a strong MCAT score gives medical schools an idea of how you would treat a patient, they don't tell them how you would care for a patient. It is only through non-academic activities that you develop the non-cognitive abilities that medical schools are looking for in future doctors. As I already emphasized, you should not take the exam if you do not feel 100% ready. Writing the exam unprepared can result in a poor score and result in not being able to get into the schools you are applying to. You will also waste a lot of money and time. Preparing and writing the MCAT is a stressful process, so if you are going to do it, make sure you feel ready to do it. If you already have a date scheduled, but you think you're not ready, check the deadline for rescheduling or canceling your test date. Another time you should avoid writing the MCAT is during your application process. The latest period you should consider writing the MCAT is from January to March or April of your application year. This way, you'll finish the exam just as the MCAS and TMD SAS application opens. If you are applying to medical school in Canada, check when their applications open and schedule your MCAT accordingly to leave yourself an ample amount of time to work on your application components. Now, why is it a bad idea to work on preparing for both your MCAT and your applications? Yes, you can certainly schedule a test date sometime during the application cycle, but I want to stress that preparing for the MCAT and composing your medical school application at the same time is a huge undertaking. Just consider how time-consuming and difficult preparing for one section of the MCAT is. For example, Most students find the MCAT CARS section quite challenging, and rightfully so. You cannot prepare for CARS by taking prerequisites. Having taken social sciences or humanities classes does not guarantee your success in CARS either. Students who do well in CARS are avid readers. This is why in your schedule, you must outline your MCAT CARS strategy, such as reading complex materials like the classics of literature, philosophy, literary magazines, and so forth. Passive reading is not enough. You must analyze and dissect these materials to get a grasp of what is expected in CARS. Additionally, you will need to go over MCAT CARS practice passages and questions to get familiar with the format and see if you're improving. Now, imagine combining your MCAT prep with writing your medical school personal statement or organizing your MCAS work and activity section. It is possible to get it done, but wouldn't you rather focus your attention on one task at a time? This is why planning when you should take the MCAT is so important. It will allow you to dedicate all the necessary time to MCAT prep while leaving plenty of time to focus on your application components. Each medical school in the United States and Canada has its own limit on how long the MCAT score is valid. Most medical schools will not accept MCAT scores older than 3 years. Make sure to check with the schools of your choice what is the oldest MCAT they accept. If you cannot find this information on the official website of your school of choice, check out the AAMC Medical School Admissions Requirement page. This portal provides all the necessary information you need to know about each medical school in America. Every year, the AAMC will release a list of around 30 test dates in Canada and the United States that you can choose from between January and September. There are 2 to 6 dates available per month. Keep what I've mentioned in mind while you're choosing your date and consider the following. The time needed to study is ideally between 3 and 6 months. Give yourself time to retake the test if needed. Keep in mind the date by which your chosen medical schools need the MCAT score. And remember, scores are released a month after you take the exam. Keep in mind the availability at your closest testing center. These centers have between 20 and 30 seats available, but they can fill up in advance, particularly during the spring. Be mindful of potential schedule conflicts with your personal plans or your college coursework and exams. Most students who do not want to take a break between undergrad and medical school take the test after their sophomore year or in their junior year of college. If this is your plan, keep in mind that you will have to juggle your college coursework and exams with MCAT preparations. Some students, though, use the summer break to study for their MCAT. If you are taking a gap year before med school or a longer break between college and medical school, you still want to take the MCAT by April or May of your application year. This means that if you want to start med school in the fall of one year, the latest you should take the MCAT is in the spring of the previous year. Once you narrow down your date, you must pick a time of the day. You can choose to take the MCAT in the morning with a 7:30 a.m. start time and a 3 p.m. finish time. Or you can choose in the afternoon with a 3 p.m. start time and a 10:30 p.m. finish time. And finally, you'll want to take into account the following items: the time you need to commute to the testing center, the meals you need to take or skip, and are you a morning person or would you perform better later in the day? This wraps up our video for today. Check out our blog to learn more about when you should take the MCAT. I've included a link and a number of resources in the description of this video so you can find everything easily. If you would like us to help you ace the MCAT, click on the link either above or below this video to schedule your free initial consultation. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, so please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. If you have any questions about when you should take the MCAT that I didn't cover in this video, let me know in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.